Dream Team Call. My name is Jessica Belzer-Nelson, and I want to welcome especially all of our new coaches to this call and to the team. This is where we meet every Monday night, normally at 9, but we're meeting a little bit earlier tonight because we have a special guest. So you guys got to let me know when you see them. But I'm going to kick us off with some announcements really quickly, but I'm going to go through these quickly so that I don't take up too much time. But I want to give a shout out to some of you guys, especially the top sponsors. These are the coaches that added 3 or more coaches to the team in one single week. Extraordinary stuff. So way to go, Cassidy Brewer, Jessica Wolf, Morgan Anderson, Alexis, Ruth Schroner, Samantha Mack, and Tanya Locke. Next up, we have our top producer of the week with over 1,000 volume. That goes to Whitney Browder and almost 1,100 Candace Brockner. Crazy stuff. Just means you guys are helping a lot of people, which is what we do. And I wanted to make sure we recognized all of the coaches that advanced their business this past week. We have a lot of brand new Emerald coaches. If you are not an Emerald yet, you want that to be your kind of #1 goal to kickstart your business so you can be open to every revenue stream. And don't forget, when you also qualify for a Success Club, you earn free customers from Beachbody. So I was a free customer assigned to my coach. I fully believe in this program. So way to go, brand new Emerald coaches. Amanda Nicole Bellick, April Marks, Cassie Klein, Cassie Reiger, Corrine Flynn, and Tia Smith. Then we have some double Emerald coaches, Reagan Hines, Samantha Mack, Samantha Konzelman, a triple Emerald coach, so close to Diamond, Deborah Drake. And get ready, you guys, to do the wave. We have a brand new Diamond coach, Rose Garcia Duarte. Woo! Way to go, Rose. Super exciting stuff. Can't wait to see who is next and who is earning their spots at the VIP top shelf table at Summit at our Dare to Dream luncheon. But there's so many announcements. Obviously, we just came off of Super Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I know so many of you guys were attending. So just make sure that you checked out the team email this morning where you can see all things about Joel's new workout, Lift 4, about the shirt you're going to earn this month when you help 3 people get started. We have our live open house on Thursday and everything else. But like I said, I want to cut myself short so we can give our guest extra time. But let me make sure. I think there's one more thing. How many of you guys got to try the beach bars already or have placed your order? Right? We were super fortunate in Jacksonville. We got to try the beach bars. I got to try them though at Leadership. And I know all of you guys, I'm already stalking my mailman because I keep seeing these people eating those from Super Saturday. And I keep thinking all day like, oh, let me go have a beach bar. And I'm like, wait, it's not here yet, but it's coming. So I'm super pumped. And you guys, if you just a disclaimer, if you don't like cherry, you still need to get the cherry one. I hate cherry because I used to have to drink Robitussin growing up. So anything cherry I associate with that. And so I took one bite and I was kind of like, oh no. And it didn't taste anything like Robitussin. It was amazing. So, and of course you can never go wrong with chocolate and peanut butter. But that covers it. Because like I said, I want to give Dr. Luigi, you guys, he is semi-new to Beachbody. I know y'all have heard me talk about him even from the CAB meeting. I'm just super impressed with this person as a human being. And I'm also very pumped that he has decided to spend a couple minutes with us tonight. So get your questions ready. I've already sent him some questions, but like I said, I want to make this as concise as possible so he can go home to his family. But Dr. Luigi, are you there?
I am, Jessica. Good evening. I guess a lot of you guys are on the East Coast, wherever you are in the world of Beachbody. Thanks for having me in. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. We are so excited to have you here.
Yes, it's my pleasure. Well, so many of you, and Jessica, you're the MC. It's your show. I just, first of all, thank all of you for your attention, your participation. Thanks for having me on. Many of you may or may not know, I met Jessica through the CAB meetings we just recently had in Utah. I know you're sort of a relatively new CAB edition, if that's correct. And so I got to sit through some of the meetings in November, and then I really got to see them in action in Utah. And I can tell all of you, Jessica is a powerful leader. I got to sit next to her, and I can still feel the heat on my right shoulder from all the intensity, because the discussions, just so you know, the CAB meetings are very intense because these are your advocates for all of you who are coaches. Jessica is one of the many advocates who push the company executives, including Carl and John, CEO and chief co-founders, to really make change in terms of products and ingredients and marketing changes and marketing plans. So a lot of great stuff, but I just wanted to salute you for a second and let them know how much work you do. But,
thank you. Yeah, it was a heated room, all right.
Yeah, that was a hot room in the cold. But I can give you a little, like a 10-second primer on my background, where I'm from, what I've done in my medical career, and then how I got here. I do that for a quickie, and then I can get right into questions. By the way, I have a full hour, but I want to respect everyone's time. I'm good till 5:30 here in Los Angeles, which is 8:30 your time. So I'm all yours for an hour.
Oh, awesome. Okay, yeah, we'd love to hear just a little bit about you first, definitely.
So I am born and raised here in sunny Los Angeles, California. I grew up about 20 minutes away from Beachbody headquarters, where I am sitting right now. And I went to school here, went to UCLA, my undergraduate training, did a master's in public health at UCLA. I went away to medical school on the East Coast to Mount Sinai in New York City, where I got my MD degree. So I'm a medical doctor. I still write for prescriptions. I'm licensed. I got board certified in 2 areas. I got a double board certification, family medicine and clinical nutrition. So I did family medicine because I really wanted to do sports medicine. And a lot of people go into family to start, and they'll become like team doctors, whether it's football, basketball, baseball. That was kind of one of my ideas. I wanted to be very entrepreneurial and open up my own clinic. That was back in the day what I was thinking. And then I got really attracted to nutrition when I was studying medicine, because I understood it was very preventive. I didn't really want to write for prescriptions. I do that, but I always felt food is like your first medicine, because that's what really helps you prevent diabetes, heart disease, stroke, chronic, you name it, hypertension. So this was my plan, and I worked as a family medicine doctor for many years. I worked at UCLA, university right up the street. And at the same time, I was also working in the nutrition industry for about 13 years. So I was doing lots of trainings with individuals like coaches like yourself. So I came to Beachbody primarily because of Shakeology. I learned about Shakeology about 6 years ago. I called Michael Neiman, the division president. I hit him up on LinkedIn, and I was like, hey, man, I don't know what you guys are doing with the Shakeology. I've never seen any company of this size, $1 billion company, do anything like this with ingredients like Sacha Inchi, organic pea. It just wasn't being done. Everyone was doing soy. Everyone was doing corn, wheat, whey, casein blends, which are great. But no one was doing some of the stuff that you hear Darren and Isabel talk about. Just didn't see it, especially for a company of this size. So I got really attracted to it, and I said, this was like 6 years ago. I took him out to lunch. I said, I don't know what you guys are doing, but I want to jump on this train one day. So I'm just letting you know. I don't know if you have any job openings, but I'm going to be watching you guys. So 6 years later, this job opened up. I applied because I didn't even know about the exercise. I didn't know about Shaun T. I know many of you, Jessica, having talked with you. I've been watching Shaun T and Autumn and everyone on TV for years. I didn't know Beachbody and Shakeology were the same company. I didn't know that. I didn't have that connection. Make a long story short, I took the job, or they took me, you guys took me, been here a little over 5.5 months, and my job is to work on the consumables, the things we're going to talk about, Shakeology, Daily Sunshine, performance, all the things we're going to jam through tonight. I want to give you real easy training tips, but we make those products with these scientists. And if you have new ideas for products, we take your ideas, like Jessica did at the CAB meeting, and then we bring those to our scientists and see if we can make them. Okay, so that's the quick primer, what I do, and I'm delighted to be here.
That is so cool that you actually approached Beachbody 6 years ago. Like, talk about putting it out into the universe. Yeah. I love that.
Well, and I'll get right into your questions too, Jessica, but before I do that, the reason why, and I'm not like a hardcore, like environmental tree hugger, I'm not that guy, but a little over 6 years ago, when I was traveling a lot, I started reading a lot of books on sustainability. And that simply means how are, like, in 7 generations from now, how are we going to leave this planet for like the next 7 generations, right? That's kind of the idea of sustainability. Like, you know, the Tesla car and, like, you know, Ubers and Patagonia clothes, these companies that are doing things like that. So I got really interested in sustainable nutrition because I realized that you can't just make soy protein that's genetically modified that's not going to feed the world, because that's going to be a house of cards that collapses. The ingredients that you might find on, let's say, a Shakeology bag, these are sustainable. This was the reason that attracted me to the company, sustainable nutrition, and it's something that I hope that we can talk about in the future in this company. It's a great big pitch for us.
That is awesome. I love that. Yeah, that is so cool.
Yeah. So Jessica, it's your show. I'll get into the questions. You let me know if they're really boring. Just do the old, Luigi, shut up. This is not interesting into us. And we can do open Q&A. But you gave me about 5 or 6 questions that I can hit off the top. And then, and I encourage all of you to write down your questions about ingredients. If I don't know the answer now, I will find the scientists tomorrow to get the question answered in the company, and then I'll send it right back to Jessica. I'll email you direct. That's cool. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great.
So your first question that you guys sent over, what makes Shakeology different from other protein drinks on the marketplace? So let me grab a couple Shakeologies, because I love this question, and it's the big reason I came to the company. Now, this is a premium shake. It's really important to understand. When you hear Darren and Isabel talk about Shakeology, you'll hear them say it's not just a protein shake. Now, protein's a big part of it. And many of you have new leaders that came to the NLC conference in Los Angeles, and we covered this difference in 5 areas. I see some of you, okay, I see Nicole like waving her head like she was there. Okay, cool. So yes. So when you think about it, and Nicole and some of you may have heard this already, but let me do this again. 5 areas that make this shake really, really unique. The first one is protein. So when you look on the back of the label, you're going to see your proprietary protein blend at the top. And this is what's really important. In Beachbody, we have very clean protein sources. We have whey in the whey blend. That's a dairy protein, okay? And in the vegan blend, we have no dairy, all vegan, right? The sacha inchi, the chia, the flax. Now, what makes those very special is the cleanliness and purity of those proteins. There's a lot of companies that you guys are talking to, there's a lot of customers that you're talking to who are going to tell you they can't afford Shakeology and they want a bag of $40 soy protein. Not clean protein, okay? Or they may be using a cheap form of whey or casein. Now, some of them are going to say, oh, I'm buying a bag of protein that's $70 and it has rice and pea protein in it. What's up with that? And you can tell them, well, we know that our rice and pea protein is clean. That simply means that we buy it from specific people, specific, let's say formulators, but specific resources who ensure that the protein is sourced in a way that doesn't have a lot of heavy metals, it doesn't have toxins, and it won't have pesticides, herbicides, and mercury, and all these crazy things that can get into different types of proteins. So, and depending on the country that a lot of these companies source their proteins from, it can be very dirty. So think about point number 1, clean protein sources. And just because one of your customers says, I buy Shake X from this company and it's half the price of Shakeology, that isn't necessarily a good thing. It just might mean that they're getting a cheap source of pea or a cheap source of rice protein, okay? So just because it's a plant-based protein, like when you see other vegan companies, doesn't mean it's clean. So we ensure cleanliness and purity. I'm going to talk about the testing in a second, okay? So that's number 1, protein. Number 2 is the carbohydrate source, the sugar. And a lot of you encounter problems with sugar from your customers. I hear this all the time from my patients. Don't want to do sugar. I'm on a paleo. I'm doing intermittent fasting. That's all cool. I never knock anyone for what a program they're doing. But when it comes to sugar, we don't want a lot. We want to put a little, and the shake has to taste good. So we put a small amount, 7 grams of organic cane sugar mixed with some of the sugar that you get from the fruit blend. Okay, so the 7 grams that you see in Shakeology, 2 of it is probably from natural fruits, sometimes 2 to 3 grams, and you're going to have about 4 grams from the organic cane sugar. So when you consider that 7 grams, that's 28 calories. 28 calories is 1/3 of a piece of fruit. I want to say it again. So when a customer says, hey, Shakeology, this stuff is loaded with sugar, you tell them, hold on, wait. I want to tell you how much sugar. It's 7 grams of sugar. You can walk them through it. Say, let me educate you. That's a myth. Go to the label. So 7 grams of sugar. That's 28 calories because 1 gram is 4 calories. And 28 calories is about 1/3 of a piece of fruit. It's about 1/3 of your average medium banana, okay? So now that suddenly demystifies the sugar argument. It's not a lot of sugar, okay? A can of soda, 250 calories, tons and tons of high fructose corn syrup. So number two, the point about sugar, I want to also mention that all of the shakes are low glycemic index certified. So all of our shakes, if someone says, well, I don't know what this 28 calories means, just let them know that by definition, our shakes have a low glycemic index. That means when you drink them, you have a slow buildup of sugar and metabolism into the body, and that's a good thing. That means if you took a tablespoon of sugar, or if someone drank a soda, that would have a high glycemic index, a peak and a trough, and that's a very bad thing for people with diabetes and such. So one thing is protein, it's a clean source. Number two, sugar, organic cane sugar with a low glycemic index, okay? Very, very important, because people are gonna say, well, I just have fructose in my $60 shake or $70 shake. But that fructose has clearly probably been sourced from corn or other sources which are genetically modified. And those sources have pesticides, herbicides, chemicals. They can have irradiated materials and sewage runoff on those farms. When you see organic cane sugar on the label, that means by definition, and you can look it up on the USDA website, the farms that we grew that organic cane sugar on, or we bought it from, have to be clean. No GMO, no pesticides, herbicides, irradiation, sewage. That's the definition, okay? So when you see organic cane, it means a lot of stuff, all right? Okay, so third point on Shakeology, why it's so different than other shakes and why it's so premium. Fiber. Okay, I always say, when I learned about, like when I was sitting with Jessica and I was hearing all everyone's testimonials, and I heard about the history with like the Shaun T workouts, and she told me all this incredible stuff. By the way, I met Tony Horton, I met Autumn, I got to talk with Siggy. I haven't met Shaun T yet. He's like this super celebrity. I know, and you guys all hang out with him, and he's like your friend. So hopefully, I'm hoping one day I get to meet Shaun, shake his hand, and be like, dude, you're such an inspiration, and I've seen you on TV for years. But when you think about you finishing a Shaun T program, you're ripped. Your abs, your legs, your back muscles. This is the quality that we sell, results. And what's sort of interesting about Beachbody? It's sexy. I always say, and it's a family show. Some of you have your kids here. So we keep it family. But Beachbody sell results, and they're kind of sexy when you show your arm and your back. My wife is doing 80-day obsession. It's the first time in 7 years that I discovered she has abdominal muscles. I didn't know. I'm like, honey, that's sexy. That's amazing. And because she's 50 days in the 80-day obsession. Here's the point. Protein gives you those results because it feeds your lean muscle mass. Protein's kind of sexy. Fiber is not very sexy at all. Fiber makes you go poop. It helps you go to the bathroom. It keeps us regular. It's essential in the body. And Shakeology puts fiber in. We put good sources of soluble, insoluble fiber with the probiotic blend, with the digestive enzymes, all the stuff Darren talks about and Isabel, and that keeps us regular. It's not sexy. No one's posting a picture on Instagram of their toilet with a bag of Shakeology on top saying, this kept me regular, right? But it's essential, and it's really, really important that we talk about the digestive enzymes, the fiber. Every one of your customers, I guarantee you, if they're not using Beachbody products, they're probably only getting 12 grams of fiber per day, because that's the average. UK, Canada, and the US. All your customers are probably getting 12, maybe 14 grams. Guess what? They need 25 grams a day to be healthy. So having a Shakeology, having a digestive health boost, that's going to get them 25 grams. It's going to change their life. So remember, protein is sexy. Okay, very important. The sugar's organic, low glycemic index. The fiber, not very sexy, but essential to the human body, mixed with the digestive enzymes and all that good stuff, okay? Now, I want to get into fats. We're in the fourth point of 5, and this is the longest answer, I'm sorry, but it's really important because this is most of our business, Shakeology. Healthy fats. It's really important you understand that most of the fat that we eat as Americans, or if you have European or Canadian business, it's filled with omega-6 fats. Those are pro-inflammatory fats. They're essential in the human body, but we don't need them in very high amounts. Many of you have you guys heard about omega-3 fats? Can you kind of raise your hand if you heard of omega-3s? Fish oil, chia, flax. Okay, so you know omega-3s. The human body needs both omega-3s and omega-6. You need them both. Omega-3s reduce inflammation. So if you eat lots of sushi and lots of chia and flax, your body's cool. Omega-6 fats, which are in corn and other soybean, a lot of other things, they promote inflammation. You need them both. The problem is the omega-6 is usually in a 30-to-1 ratio in the human body. That's in the American diet, and the Canadian and the UK diet. So what does that mean? Everyone who's not on Shakeology is walking around inflamed because they're eating burgers and chips and crackers and processed foods. And what we need to do is reduce the omega-6 in the diet. It's very hard to do on a Western diet. So what's the answer? Shakeology. You look on the back, the fats are very low. We only use 2 to 3 grams. And here's the cool thing. We balance the fats in a 1-to-1 ratio. That's the ratio they're supposed to be in. I give my kids every morning, I have a 4.5-year-old daughter, Juliana, and my crazy, almost soon to be, I call him the king of chaos, my son Luca. We talked about him at New Leaders. You know, I just realized he's gonna see this video one day and he's gonna be like, dude, Dad, why are you dogging me out this much? He's a little crazy. I love him to death, but he's crazy. She's an angel. The point is I give them both fish oil in the morning. They get about a tablespoon of highly filtered natural fish oil because those omega-3s are important for your brain development. Helps with kids who are hyperactive, like my son, who's like all the time, right? So that cools him out and he is awesome. He's getting much better. So omega-3-6 ratio is not important just for kids who are super active. It's also important for adults. It's important for older individuals who are pre-diabetic, who have high blood pressure, who have chronic diseases, and for our grandparents who are aging and who have dementia. What's that from? Their loss of memory. It's from the omega-6 inflammation that's happening in the brain. The brain's literally cooking like eggs on a skillet. You reduce the omega-6, you increase the omega-3, everything is better. So from the brain to the eyes, to the heart, to the skin, to the muscle, the fat ratios have to be 1-to-1 or maybe 1-to-3, but not 1-to-30 like the American diet, okay? So very important, Shakeology does that. Daily Sunshine helps balance that. Everything does that. So that's the Beachbody secret. The last point, phytonutrients and adaptogens. We talk about this a lot. Just understand that when you look at the back of Shakeology, this beautiful blend of phytonutrients and adaptogens and reishi mushroom, ashwagandha, cordyceps, all of these have health benefits in the human body. And we've known that for many years. Now, we don't talk about them like it's medicine, but understand that they all benefit the human body in different ways. That's why we made the shake sort of, I call it elegant, but it's complex. Over 60 ingredients, and they're all doing something to your skin, hair, nails, digestive tract. But have the confidence that that blend is really specific and important, okay? So I'm gonna stop there. Sorry, that was a long answer. Protein, sexy. Sugar, organic, low glycemic index. Fiber, digestive enzymes, not sexy, but essential to the human body, okay? Healthy fats need to be in the right balance, just like Shakeology. And of course, the phytonutrients and adaptogens, unique, very few products in the marketplace have that. We look at my last point on Shakeology. There's almost 800 different shakes that are being sold in the market now. 800. No wonder our coaches are like having to compete with all these different customers, right? But understand that we are a premium shake, best in class. And when you look at really our true competitors, there's really only about 3 that are sort of similar. Of those 3, we have more of the right healthy ingredients and we have coaches. We're the only company with coaches. All the other stuff sits on a dusty shelf and no one picks it up, right? If no one's talking to them. So understand the unique qualities of Shakeology and you as the coach who sells it. I'm gonna shut up with that. I'll kick it back to Jessica and see if-
Yeah, we did have one question. Nicole wanted to know if the omega fats are transferred to breast milk in nursing moms, if you happen to know that.
Absolutely. Excellent question. Yes, I know. Now, here's the thing. If you're taking a fish oil or if you're like Isabel, if you watch Isabel's video, she adds all kinds of healthy fats in her shake. She puts avocado, she puts different Nut butters, you know, she likes the nut butters. I know some people have nut allergies, but she mixes nut butters and she'll put avocado. Those are healthy monounsaturated omega-9 fats. They're also really important. So there's the 3s, the 6s, and the 9s. To your point, do they get transferred into the breast milk? Yes. Just understand, if you're taking a fish oil, and there are companies that make fish oils, sounds crazy, that you can pour in your shake, and they make them strawberry flavored. They do all these crazy things. But you can add those, and those omega-3s that come from fish are better absorbed by the moms, and they get into the breast milk. And when when mom is pregnant, those omega-3s that mom is taking get into the baby's brain development even while the baby is developing in utero. But it's especially important when the baby comes out and breastfeeds, because the omega-3s, and by the way, moms, you're making healthy omega-3s from your natural breast milk, and that gets into your baby's brain. 40% of our brain is made of DHA. That's one of the omega-3s, docosahexaenoic acid. Just remember, DHA, that's half of your brain tissue. So when, you know, they say you are what you eat, and you eat fish because it's brain food, it's exactly what you're doing when you have sushi. That DHA is going to your brain to help fix it. So yes, the answer is yes, gets into the breast milk, into the baby's brain, and especially those critical first 2 years of development.
Perfect. She's excited.
Great question.
Okay, what's next? Let's move on.
Cool. I'll keep going. So number 2, what makes our pre-workout and recovery drink special? Okay, so I've got our pre-workouts here. Let's get into what I call the hit records of Beachbody, okay? Every musician's got a hit record. If Beachbody was a musician in the world of exercise, you'd have your big hit records here. Energize and recover, okay? And we're going to talk about recharge too, but let's start with energize. These two, for those of you who are business owners who do a lot of training, realize that on average, the highest retention in the company of any product is energize. I'm going to say it again. For those of you who are business owners, you're running your business and you're doing your profits and losses, highest retention in the company is energize. That means that you keep your coaches and customers the most amount of time on energize before they may, let's say, you know, go if they stop ordering, or maybe they discontinue for a while. So good sign to know. The second highest sort of hit record is recover. It's very high in retention. So these two are huge. And of course, 80-day obsession has helped, but we see this incredible longevity. So let's talk about energize first. Many of you take your energize, you get a tingling sensation, all right? No other sort of pre-workout does that. That tingling sensation is from something called beta-alanine. Not important to memorize what beta-alanine is. Just know that it converts to a certain compound in the body naturally, and that compound buffers your lactic acid. So if you're doing your favorite Shanti workout, I haven't done a workout yet from Shanti, I'm scared, but if you're doing that workout and you're about to fatigue on rep number 12, Energize will give you the ability to go to rep number 15 because it buffers the lactic acid that causes fatigue. That's real. Not only is it real, we legally make the claim on the label. So you're going to see, what's the claim? Improves intense exercise performance. We legally can say that. In the countries we sell it because of the beta-alanine. So the stuff that gives you the tingle in the face and the fingers or wherever you get it, that actually allows you to work out longer. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, 1 scoop, 100 milligrams of natural caffeine. That's equivalent to about a cup of American coffee. If you're in Canada or the UK, it's probably the same. Probably typical to about also a Red Bull, Rockstar, or energy drink. Okay, so whether it's a cup of coffee or an energy drink, we have the equivalent amount of natural caffeine. Okay, it's very important. All those other companies use synthetic caffeine. We use natural caffeine. Green tea and coffee, caffeine from coffee bean. So those two are very important. Natural source, 100 milligrams per scoop. If you want to dial it up to 2 scoops, that's cool. You can do 200 milligrams. I know Autumn in 80-day obsession is very sensitive. She likes to suggest 1 scoop. So just follow the program of your super trainer. And the only thing I'd mention besides that is the beta-alanine, the natural caffeine, and the magnesium citrate. If you look on the label, you're going to see a little thing called magnesium citrate. It's a small thing. Magnesium helps with muscle cramping. It does 300 different reactions in the human body. But the cool thing about magnesium citrate, it is the best absorbed magnesium that you can use in sports. And when I saw magnesium citrate on the label, I was sold on the product. Most of the other products you see outside of Beachbody use very bad forms of magnesium that are not absorbed well. And they just put them in there as window dressing. Look for magnesium citrate. If you're talking to a customer, I can almost guarantee you their pre-workout beverage will not have magnesium citrate. It's very premium and hard to get and hard to put in. A lot of companies don't blend it, okay? So there's your Energize, your hit record, highest retention in the company, an amazing product. You can, and you can use it more than once a day if you want. If you want to use 1 or 2 scoops in the morning, that's cool. 1 or 2 scoops at night. Remember, please respect your super trainer's program, because I know in 80-day obsession test groups, or the closed groups, we talk about maybe 1 scoop of Energize. Okay, so follow those directions because we want you to get results. Okay, Recover, the next hit record, phenomenal product, and now I'm going to bring in Recharge. As soon as you finish your workouts, Recover is the thing to do, because if you imagine me kicking a hole in the wall behind me, and I've told this story a couple times on trainings, you create a big dent in the wall, a big hole, and that's what you do with your muscle tissue when you exercise. You damage the muscle tissue immediately. Even if you're going for a long walk with your family, damage your muscle tissue. If you're doing your favorite workout, you definitely damage it, and you need Recover as quickly as possible as you finish that workout. Why? Because Recover has fast-acting proteins, including whey, W-H-E-Y, whey protein, which gets into the muscle tissue, fixes that hole in the wall very rapidly. It also has pea protein and something called micellar casein. You'll see it on the label, not important, but it has this level blend, fast, medium, and slower acting. So it fixes the hole in the wall, the damaged muscle tissue, immediately. Then when you go to sleep, you can take your Recharge, which has that micellar casein, and that micellar casein slowly repairs the wall that's been damaged and slowly repairs your muscle tissue while you're sleeping. So they're specifically designed to do fast acting with Recover, and Recharge is slower acting, and you take that at night. The only other thing I'll mention is Recover has something called pomegranate. The pomegranate nutrients, this is very unique in Beachbody, they help to reduce your muscle soreness so you feel better for the next workout. And the Recharge has tart cherry, and that also reduces your muscle soreness. We include those two. Again, you're not going to see those things in other products in the marketplace. Talk to those ingredients to your customers. They're very important. And those 2 ingredients reduce the inflammation, they reduce the soreness, and you'll feel better the next day. Okay. Hopefully at Summit, for those of you who are coming, we're going to have some really exciting research that we've been doing on these products to show how powerful those nutrients are together. And we're hoping to publish that research soon, okay? So that's Energize and Recover and Recharge. Hydrate, phenomenal product. Creatine, phenomenal product. I'll just say the only thing about Hydrate, just realize that the coloring of Hydrate is from quercetin. That's a natural phytonutrient. We don't put any artificial colors, flavors, preservatives, or colors, okay? So I'm rambling on. I know Jessica's going to give me the cut any second, but just think about when you're talking to a customer, Energize, beta-alanine, finish the Shanti workout. If you're doing 15 reps and you fatigue at 12, Energize gets you over the hump. Natural caffeine, 100 milligrams, and of course, magnesium citrate, super pure blend. You won't see it in any other, very few products in the marketplace. And Recover, Recharge, you guys got it. So how does that sound?
That was amazing. I can't believe how much I just learned. Wow. Okay, so we have a couple questions. Of course, I know you guys get asked this a lot, is about a vegan version of Recover. Can you answer, is that, something y'all are considering at least? Is that something that's possible?
Absolutely. And Jessica, this is why I know you're such a great CAB member, because I know you heard this product being tossed around. In fact, for all you coaches, this is why having coach advisory board members on your team is a wonderful addition because Jessica is one of the folks who's going to advocate for you, who will tell Carl and the president and Michael Neiman, this is what my customers want. So she hears that from 100 of you. That goes right to Carl's ear. Carl tells us, let's work on something vegan. So we are working with the scientists to see if it's doable, see if it's feasible. And we've been working on it for quite some time. If we can get it going, we would make it happen as soon as we can. So let's just say that we're working on it. We believe that it's feasible, and that's all I can say about that. But we think it's a huge potential for the marketplace, because not only are we going to be disruptive within the marketplace that we're creating, we're going to actually take a lot of market share from our competitors who are doing stuff like that. So we're very excited about the idea. So thank you, coaches, for bringing that to us.
Perfect. And then what about, can you speak to why you switched to cane sugar?
Yes, absolutely. 2 reasons. Okay. So this is the way it works with food products. You'll take a can of soda, or you can get a box of macaroni, and you're going to see the word fructose on there. Usually on soda, they might write high fructose corn syrup. And so everyone knows that's bad. Why is that so bad? Because it's genetically modified corn that's grown. When they spray that corn, when it's being grown, they spray it with pesticides, herbicides, and lots of chemicals. When they strip down that corn, the chemicals get into the sugar that they can make from the corn. So whether it's corn sweetener that you see in a can of soda, or fructose on a food label, usually that comes from genetically modified corn. That's kind of the dirty secret in the food industry that's happening right now. Now, here's the thing. The people who sell sugar don't have to disclose if they got it from genetically modified corn, or if they got it from beets, or if they got it from oranges or bananas or apples. They don't have to tell you, because when they chemically cut it down to fructose, it's just fructose. But that fructose might have that pesticides that were sprayed on the corn in these tiny little micronutrient levels that we can't see and can't detect. So what do? We remove all doubt. We don't want to mess with any suppliers who might be mixing their sugar from oranges, bananas, and high fructose and corn. So we just say, forget it. We're going to go an organic route. So we buy the organic cane sugar, which ensures that not only is it pure cane sugar, actual sugar grown from cane, but it was done through organic methods, which again, look it up on the USDA website, punch in organic USDA definition, and it will tell you exactly what that means. And you can share that with your customers. The only reason now, I don't want anyone, I've done several other calls where people said, well, wait a minute, was the beet sugar bad? Not at all. We were using good beet sugar. But a lot of farmers are able to take genetically modified beets. Those are a thing now. There's genetically modified bananas and genetically modified beets. But we don't know if the beets that they're giving us are real or GMO, or the bananas or what. So in order to stop all that, we just buy organic cane sugar, and that gives you the confidence. No GMOs used, no spraying with pesticides, herbicides, and all that bad stuff. And that's the major reason. The sweetness is great, by the way. It's a nice sweetness. We use 7 grams. The only blend we use 8 grams is the cafe latte. Just so you know, that's 8 grams, only 32 calories. All the other blends are 7 grams. And of course, in your workout products, your performance line, as you order them this month, you're going to see a lot of the new products coming. The products coming with organic cane sugar, not beet sugar. So it's actually a really great question that you're asking.
Great. And then we had one more from Michael. He says he gets asked about protein a lot in Shakeology. Can the whey protein be sourced from an organic source? Grass-fed whey protein is a big draw and eliminates the argument.
Yes, it's a great question. We've heard it many times. So we don't have that visibility yet. I've looked at a lot. I work with a lot of our sourcing people who buy. So here's the thing, and it's just a 10-second sort of primer on that. There's tons of cows everywhere. Cows always eat grass to start when they're growing. At some point in the life cycle, as they're milking the cows and before they basically render the cows to make steaks and you name it, They often feed the cows in the last stages of their life with lots of corn and soybean. That is genetically modified. Now, technically, when those cows make milk, the food companies or the dairy producers don't have to label if it's a corn-fed GMO cow or if it's a natural grass-fed cow. So a lot of companies are trying to distinguish by buying from specifically grass-fed cows, but it's tough to do when you're $1 billion company. I know you're seeing a lot of smaller companies that are going to go to one small farm. So we have a tough time ensuring that the farmers that we order from are traditionally non-GMO. I've looked at a lot of our sourcing materials. It's non-GMO whey, but the definition of non-GMO whey, we don't know exactly if the cow was fed corn and if it was actually GMO corn. We don't have that visibility. So we're trying to get more visibility in the supply chain, and we're trying to get more sourcing. But I will say we're looking into some of the companies that do that, and we're not so sure if they're actually telling the truth on that. So I'm not trying to poo-poo other companies. I'm just saying, don't believe everything you see, number one. Number two, make sure it's organic USDA certified. So if that certification's there, good for that company. And number two, we're going to try and do better in disclosing sort of what we know about going upscale or upstream with the chain of getting our whey and our casein, because that's important to us. Yeah, so great question, but we don't have that visibility, but we want to look into that. But I will say this. We test when we get the whey protein, when we get the specifications, there are a lot of things that are given to these cows who are sort of industrial agriculture cows, whether it's they're antimicrobials, they're antibiotics, antivirals. We test the milk for all that, and we don't have any of that stuff in the milk, which tells me that we have really clean milk. It doesn't have any of these growth factors or these recombinant sort of steroids that they give them. We don't have any of that in the milk. So very important, we look for the byproducts that are given to those sort of not so good cows. They're not in our way, but we haven't been able to certify them 100% pasture, grass-fed. So we're working on looking into that.
Perfect. All right. Well, that covers everything so far.
Okay, cool. Let's see, question number 3. What's the process of making Shakeology and what measures are taken to ensure quality? So this is one of my favorite questions because I filled in for Isabel, one of her calls, and I just realized how close up I was on your screen, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm excited because when I was sitting with Jessica, she's so high energy. I'm trying to make sure I give you, Jessica, all my energy. So I'm gonna drop back a bit, okay? And chill. So this is a really important question. I filled in for Isabel on one of her calls, and I didn't know the answer to this, so I reached out to the R&D team, and I found out about our quality and testing procedure. It's phenomenal. So I'm going to do it real quick and real easy. It's a 3-step testing. There's tons of steps, but I boil it down to 3. The first step is we do what's called ingredient auditing. So we go to the ingredient supplier. So if you take, let's say your Shakeology, your ashwagandha. We go to the people who give us the ashwagandha that we buy from. We go and we do a white glove test. We literally sort of go check their facilities, make sure they don't have leaks. We want to see how they source, how they transport the ashwagandha, where they store it, if it's dry, if it's the right temperature. So a lot of companies, most companies don't do that. They send the money, they receive the product, and they don't care. So step 1 is we actually do an ingredient audit. We have to go and check each of those 60 plus ingredients. I just talked to one of our quality guys. He was in Indonesia checking out some of the oils that we use in Beach Bar 2 weeks ago. And he's like, dude, I checked the plant. We got to make sure it's clean. That's incredible. So step 1 is we go to the ingredient manufacturer, check it. Number 2, oh, by the way, when we check those ingredients, we do multiple levels of testing, like 60 different tests on the ingredient to make sure it's pure and it is ashwagandha. It can't be fake sawdust or something, right? Number 2, we ship those ingredients into the place we're going to blend it, into the blending facility. That's usually our co-packer or co-manufacturer. So step 2 is we bring all these ingredients together, we check again, we do another 60 different tests per batch. I want to say that again. We do 60 different tests per batch of ingredients. That is phenomenal. So we make sure that it's pure, it's clean, it has not been adulterated, and they actually sent us the ashwagandha that we bought, and they didn't put something else in there and ship us something fake. So stage 1 is checking there at the facility. Stage 2 is checking at our blending facility, okay? Then we blend everything together. If we're doing a massive batch, it usually takes 1 or 2 days to blend all the Shakeology. Then after it's blended, we start taking batches of that, and here's stage 3. We do 300 individual tests on each batch. I'll say it again, 300 individual tests on each batch. Then if you take, so that package then gets done, goes literally into the shipping facility and goes to your door direct. So by the time you get it, there are literally thousands of different individual tests that have been done because of all the 60, 60, and 300 on each of those batches that have gone through for Shakeology. When you consider performance, we do the same thing, and then we have to test for banned substances, which is the 4th level of testing. So we make sure there's no amphetamines or drugs or anything that may be illegal if you're working with a professional athlete, or if you're working with your local high school or college coaches, you want to make sure that their athletes are getting pure stuff. So 3 levels of testing, think 60, 60, 300, okay? It's second to none in the industry, and this is again why this is a premium shake. It's best in class. Okay, let me see if you got any questions on that.
Yeah, so we're wondering if you're going to be increasing the price, because that's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm certainly not planning on increasing the price because of that. But see, this is the argument that when people say, and I hear this all the time when I meet some of I did a training in New York over the weekend, and we had customers, and there's a video that's on Facebook. There was a customer who came, and it's cool, she drinks Garden of Life. So she was hitting me hard with the Garden of Life questions. Like, Garden of Life does this, and I was like, I said, great. I talked, to some folks afterwards, said, Garden of Life, I have nothing bad to say about that company. What's important is the confidence I have in this company. I know the scientists, I know the sourcing material. I don't know anyone at Garden of Life, so I can't speak to that. But if you are using this product or you're selling these products, I want you as coaches to have confidence that you know this is real, it's authentic, and you know the people who can speak to what they're doing making this product. The product that you drink or your kids drink or your family shares, okay? So that's why I don't like dogging out other companies, but please understand that a lot of people are going to pitch you on, hey, I can get this shake for $60. It's not the same shake.
Exactly.
Because they're charging, for them to charge $60 means probably in corners, we're using dirty rice, dirty, other fillers, and it doesn't have that level of testing and authentication. So I'll stop there, but I just want you to feel confident in this product.
And Chrissy asked, and I've also heard you say this, that you drink 2 Shakeologies a day. So she's wondering why you drink 2 instead of 1.
Yes. So first off, I'm 212 pounds. I used to be a lot more muscular in my younger days, but now that I'm in Beachbody, I'm trying to, I'm getting fit again. I'm working out, the kids are finally sleeping a little bit better. So now we have time to go to the gym, my wife and I. So anyway, so number 1, protein requirements. All of you, whether you are super active or you're moderately active, you have a protein number that you have to hit. I know they're predominantly women. Women run Beachbody. Let's face it, it's 90% of our coaches. So you, the queens, have protein requirements. As a female, you're probably going to need a minimum of 75 grams of protein per day, probably closer to 100. The government minimum is about 50 to 60 grams for an average woman. You are not the average woman, and you cannot have the government minimum. So I'd kick you up to 75 to 100 grams minimum. Because of that, I'm suggesting 1 shake of Shakeology, 1 serving, 16 to 17 grams of protein. If you have Recover, another 20 grams. So now you're at, let's say, 20, 37, almost 40 grams. You have a chicken breast, you have some shrimp. Now you're hovering around, let's say, 70 grams. You're still 30 grams deficient for your next workout the next day. So how are you going to get the next one? I would hit you off with another Shakeology or a recharge so you can hit your minimum protein number. So my minimum protein number is close to 180 grams when I do my calculations, close to 200. So for me to do that, I need to have 2 Shakeologies. I got my beach bars a little bit early. We'll talk about those in a second. That's 10 grams of protein. I knock out 1 or 2 of those a day. And of course, Recover's got 20. I'll have a Recover. So I'm getting lots of protein. And of course, I eat plenty of natural food. So the reason why I'm not, Carl's a 365er. I'm a 730er because I got my chocolate in the morning and I do strawberry in the afternoon.
And so Chrissy also wanted to know if she is doing 2 a day consistently, then is she overloading on all the other vitamins and nutrients?
Not at all. Not at all. And this is a wonderful question and something that I teach my patients, because when I see patients I used to train at UCLA and I'd see patients in clinic, there's something called, so drugs are in the pharmaceutical range. It's a very high dose range. And you may see supplements that say pharmaceutical grade, and that's all well and good. There's something called the nutritional range, which is well below that. All of our products, all the labels you see are in the nutritional range, which simply means everything is safe, effective. It's a percent of the RDA. It's not going to be 10,000%. It may be 35%. All the vitamins are all the water-soluble vitamins. If you don't use it, you void it out. You pee it right out. For the fat-soluble vitamins, there is no toxic buildup. You're going to absorb those into the fatty tissues of the body. That's vitamin D, A, K, and E. Not important, but it's not going to be in any toxic levels. So all the vitamins, absolutely fine in not the pharmaceutical, the nutritional range, which is what food and supplements are in. And you cannot OD on anything in our products. Even if you have 2 shakes a day like me with Recover and a bar. Not an issue.
Even if you're pregnant on vitamin A?
It's a good question. So pregnant on vitamin A, yeah, you'll be fine. But however, I always say this disclaimer. There's the medical and there's the legal. If you are a coach, you are building a business. If you are a top coach, then you have to be very careful. Well, any coach, as you're building your business, you want to build it ethically and you want to build it in a smart way. So there's the medical. There are no medical issues with someone who's pregnant having our products. There's simply vitamins and minerals. We're going to talk about how you talk to the doctor. From a legal and ethical standpoint, you always defer that person to their doctor, because you don't want to be the one, if you're making $1 million a year in Beachbody as a coach, and you got your new Porsche, and you bought a new house, and you got a boat in Miami, and someone's like, hey, I'm going to get some of that money. I'm going to sue them because they were acting like my doctor. They were acting like during my pregnancy, they were making medical recommendations. Just steer clear of that. And what you can say is, hey, if it's Shakeology, my wife is drinking Daily Sunshine now. Clearly when we were pregnant with our kids, we didn't have these products. But I could pretty much guarantee you she would be drinking a shake during pregnancy with my medical approval as the family physician, right? But take the products into your doctor and say, hey, I'm pregnant or I'm breastfeeding, and this is the question you ask. You do not ask the doctor, can I take this? Because the doctor only has 5 minutes to see you. You know how it goes. They're going to look at the long label and say, oh, I don't have time to read about adaptogens. They're going to say no. Instead, you ask the doctor, hi doc, I'm pregnant or breastfeeding. I'm interested in taking this product. I just want to make sure, is there any ingredient that you have a problem with? Any ingredient that you specifically have a problem with? You can even download the label and not bring in the pouch, the bag, okay? And then it makes the doctor give you a valid answer. They'll say, oh, the calories, the fat, the protein looks pretty good. If they have an issue with any of the phytonutrients, they can say, listen, I'd rather you hold off until when you're breastfeeding after you deliver. No problem. But have that conversation with your doctor. And the wonderful thing is, most doctors that I work with, they know that moms are taking fish oil. They're taking vitamin supplements. You just mentioned vitamin A. They're taking iron tablets or things like that. So they're already taking supplementation, and they know that there's a lot of health benefits in that. So it's a great question, but no issues with toxicity.
Now let's get to the bars. I know that's your next question, I think, that we're super excited about. And I know we're getting close to the end here.
Yes. Why should we choose Beach Bars over all the others on the market? So Beach Bars, I'm hoping many of you have received them, ordered them. If you went to a Super Saturday, maybe you got a chance to sample them. So here's a chocolate cherry almond. Here's peanut butter chocolate. First of all, amazing packaging, okay? I mean, this is what sets Beachbody apart. The marketing is genius. And this is clearly, before I joined the company, this idea was already off and running. But I wanted to take, first of all, take a look at the top. When you get your box, you're going to see right across the top, 150 calories, 10 grams of protein, 0 trans fats, 4 grams of fiber, and gluten-free, something that you can upsell to a customer, okay? And you have that both. I'm going to do a little bit of the unveiling for those of you who haven't gotten your box yet. 15 bars in the carton. And let's open one up. Here's your chocolate. I'm doing the whole unveiling, right? So let's open one up. Beautiful chocolate, real chocolate chips, which is great because we use the real nut butters, the real chocolate chips. And the reason the bar is so phenomenal is because of these points that we just talked about. 150 calories, that means calorie for calorie. When we look at Lara bar, RX bar, Kind bar, and Cliff bar, we compared the top bars in the marketplace and we said calorie for calorie, let's do an apples to apples comparison. We have more protein, lower sugar, and more fiber. I'm going to say it again. Take the 4 top bars in the industry that are snack bars. Calorie for calorie, we have more protein, lower sugar, and more fiber. That's why this bar is so amazing. And it tastes so good. It blows other bars away. So I'm not going to eat it right now because I'll have the chip. I'm going to eat it after I get off the call. But
everyone was leaning in, like waiting for you to take a bite.
Like, I'll take a bite. I'll take a bite then.
And now I noticed a lot of people were saying that it's not a protein bar, but a snack bar.
Yes.
Do you know exactly what the differentiator is on that? I'm trying to talk long so I can buy you a second.
Thank you. Jessica, you're so in sync. I love it. So, excuse me if I have a pea crisp or a whey crisp in my mouth. Yes, very important. So, when you're all chatting with your family friends about this bar, just several days ago, someone said, yeah, what about Quest bar? Quest bar is like top bar. I love how it tastes. I was like, great. Quest bar is, if you like that bar, we're not going to, like I said, we're not saying bad things about other companies because Beachbody's the best. We believe that. But let's talk about Quest bar for a second. It's got sucralose and artificial sweeteners in it. A lot of your customers don't know that, okay? So we have no artificial colors, sweeteners, flavors, preservatives. We know that. So ours is wholesome and natural. Let's take a Quest bar that's hot in the marketplace. 2 types of artificial sweeteners including sucralose, which a lot of moms do not want in their kids anymore, okay? So number 1, 2 artificial sweeteners. Number 2, it's a protein bar. You often see it sold in the gym, and I'm using Quest as an example. So they may have significantly more protein, but they use a lot of additives and a lot of preservatives to give it that sort of yummy artificial sweetness and taste. So think wholesome snack. The snack category that we are selling in is much bigger than the Quest bar. Quest bar is a protein bar. We operate in the $7 billion snack category. Massive opportunity. That's where we use Cliff, Lara, RX, and those bars. And that's why we think this is going to be so successful. By the way, it's selling like hotcakes. It did very well over 4 days of sales. So hope you guys are enjoying it.
Yeah, you gotta be so pumped about those sales. I was excited.
Yeah, last thing, it's low glycemic index. We haven't even advertised that yet. So just like your Daily Sunshine, just like Shakeology, it's low glycemic index, which means slow release, sustained energy, healthy amounts of sugar.
So great. So, okay, we have 2 minutes left. How does Daily Sunshine compare to a child's multivitamin in 2 minutes?
Great question. I love my Daily Sunshine. Actually, my wife makes it for our daughter. Technically, let's just say my daughter drinks it because my son is 3 years of age. He's turning 3. Technically, we're supposed to have the kids over 4 on the products. You guys know this. Okay, so I'm staying by the book. But we love the shake. I actually, if my daughter doesn't finish all her Daily Sunshine, I'll down it because it's so delicious, right? So great product. Yes, it is better than a multivitamin for a number of reasons. Number 1, we're delivering, let me reframe that. It's different than a multivitamin because when Isabel made Daily Sunshine, she helped formulate it. She specifically made it very similar to vegan Shakeology, where you do not see a lot of vitamins and minerals on the label. And there's a specific reason you do not see a lot of vitamins. We wanted to ensure, Isabel wanted to ensure that when kids are drinking this, they're getting most of their vitamins from the kale or the spinach, we put spinach in our morning shakes, that you're adding, you're blending the shake with. So Isabel's commitment was whole food based. Let's keep it as whole food based as possible and get your vitamins and minerals from whole foods as opposed to adding them into the shake. Okay, so that's one of the major reasons. And so it's tough to compare. You're going to see on Daily Sunshine vitamins, let's say vitamins D, calcium, iron, potassium, vitamin C, and vitamin E. However, if a mom or dad is really concerned with having some of these trace minerals or a longer list of vitamins, then they can give their kids their favorite multivitamin. So I would just say, understand that Daily Sunshine is got all the major macronutrients, but the vitamins and minerals are a small amount, I should say short list, because Isabel and the team were thinking, get that from whole foods. Let the kids get that from fruits, vegetables, and whole foods. That's my quick and
perfect. And we just had one quick follow-up to that. Have y'all ever considered producing things in a nut-free facility?
Yes. So a lot of questions. So the two big questions that came in this weekend from the trainings I noticed in New York. Number one was, Jessica, your question earlier about dairy-free. If we can do a vegan, like a bar that would be vegan, that was number one. That was like 9 out of 10. But I'd say 1 or 2 out of the 10 were, could we do a nut-free? So we're looking every time. Remember, our job is to service you. We sell to you, coaches, and your customers. So whenever you have an idea, it comes right to us. That goes right to Carl, and he tells us to investigate it right away. So yes, we're looking into that. The vegan version and a nut-free. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to make it, but that just means that our food, sort of our foodies, our chemists, food chemists who blend stuff up, they're starting to experiment with what if we did this, what if we did that. So if we can do it, we would definitely make it happen. And if we could make it at the right price point for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this call. I mean, I wish you could see the chat that was going on. It was amazing. But yeah, they're most excited about you eating that bar. But before you go, you just have to promise me one thing, and that is that you're going to do at least one Sean Week workout.
I will. I promise you that. So by the time I meet Sean, then I can say, dude, you killed me with that workout.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay.
So,
I make that promise.
Yeah, so you can choose. You need to choose Sean Week because that's the best. If you're going to do just one.
Is that the one that you're on, Jessica?
I am in that one, but it's still the best.
All right, cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Seriously, we appreciate it so much. I mean, this was an amazing call that I know we're going to be watching over and over. So thank you. That was just so wonderful.
Anytime, Jessica, and anytime you and your team or any of the folks want me on, just let me know and we'll prep for it and we'll do other questions. My pleasure. Thank you all for your participation, and I hope to meet you all very soon, hopefully at Summit. I'll be there.
We'll see you there. All right. Bye, Dr.